Hello and welcome to session 30 of my Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire Lorethrough. As you can see, we are currently at the Ukaizo Harbor. Very exciting. This is the area that we have been waiting to reach the entire game. We had to make it through Ondra's Mortars, a very deadly storm to get here. We did that last session, and yeah, here we are. So hopefully we are able to get our first ending in this playthrough, which means that you will be, if you're watching this when it releases, you'll be seeing this before the release of Avowed, which I know that you don't have to have played these games in order to enjoy Avowed, as according to the developers anyway, but hopefully knowing what happens in these two games, especially how this game ends, will help to increase your enjoyment. That's the hope anyway. But before we actually get there, I would like to read about Saint Agatta the Blind. We've been reading from the Saints and Relics section of the Pillars of Eternity 2 guidebook. And this time we are going to learn about, again, Saint Agatta the Blind. Born on an Adiran farm, Agatta was an adventurous youth who lived an otherwise normal life. In her teenage years, she gathered some gear and provisions and made her way down an abandoned mine shaft outside the village. The local constabulary found her 3 days later, wandering aimless and sightless out of the mine's entrance, which is where her notoriety began. Healers attributed her condition to the harmful fumes which permeated the subterranean labyrinth, but Agatta refuted this claim. In the depths of the mine, she claimed, she had touched an ornately engraved wall of Ondra which emerged from the stone and saw visions of bright towers rising from the land. The meaning of the vision was a mystery to her, but it left her blind to all else. Darkness stretched around all sides, and the spires providing the only source of illumination. The local mystic of Wall judged that Agatta had experienced an awakening of her soul, and for her troubles had gained the latent abilities of a watcher. The trauma of the event had fractured her spiritual essence, leaving her blind to the mortal world, but perpetually seeing into the in-between, where spirits dwell before taking their last voyage to the beyond. Being wary of animancy and other attempts to meddle in the spirit world, Agatta's community rejected her on the basis of her unusual ability. She found herself on a boat for the Eastern Reach, where experts in such maladies might be better equipped to aid her. Agatta found no luck with the Brackenberry students, who were more eager to study her condition than cure it, but she did catch the attention of another potential ally, Dunreed Rowe. Prior to their downfall in 2823 AI, an event that actually happened in the first game, Dunreed Rowe comprised of the Deerwood's most sharp-minded investigators. Agatta found in them a sort of haven, as they were sympathetic to her affliction and anxious for her to treat it as a gift rather than a curse. In the ensuing years, Agatta quietly made a name for herself as an investigator of unlawful deaths, where her talent proved a distinct advantage. Even though the purpose of the workings of Dunreed Rowe were a mystery to the Defiance Bay commoners, the presence of the blind Agatta at a crime scene gradually became a comforting one. When riots and scheming brought down the organization, Agatta was nowhere to be found among the dead. Speculation arose that the community of Wallites had spirited her off to safety, cherishing her as one gifted to perceive the unknown. In spite of her mysterious end, Saint Agatta is well remembered in her community as a protector of the downtrodden and a guiding light of the prematurely deceased. In Adir, she is not remembered at all, save as a girl who suffered an unfortunate fate. So here we get a anecdote, a fable that highlights the differences in attitudes towards animancy in the Deerwood and in Adir. Adir, it is banned and largely considered, I don't want to say evil, but considered, I can't think of a word right now. Oh my god, it's too early. Considered just overall harmful, I guess. Whereas in the Deerwood, they are much more eager to study such things. Not everybody in the Deerwood is like, hey, animancy is great, but there are places like the Brackenberry Sanitarium and eventually Dunreed Rowe that don't see it as a net negative. They can see positives within animancy. Although the people at Brackenberry Sanitarium, it said they were more interested in studying it than actually trying to cure it, which is what she wanted. Although it seems like she was able to embrace it after speaking with the people at Dunreed Row, and she was able to use her power for good, her ability to see into the beyond and the in-between, even though she couldn't see anything on Aora itself. I do want to reread here her downfall. Okay, so in the first game, Dunreed Row was attacked after the Animancy hearings in Act 2, and basically just decimated. So there was nobody left in Dunreed Row. Maybe there was a couple people, I don't remember exactly, but they lost like 99% of the people, at least, that were a part of Dunreed Row. Agatta, however, was nowhere to be found. So the circumstances surrounding her disappearance are mysterious, not really sure what happened, and they think that Wallites were able to vanish her off to safety, although I'm not sure, and nobody's really sure, where she is anymore. Okay. I'm going to move on here. Once again, we are at Ukaizo Harbor. You see these two like archways here, blocking the gate here. I believe when we came in, when the camera was panning, we saw the two guardians of Ukaizo standing in these two areas here. We are unable to see it from where we are now. As you can see, it's only, we see blank spaces, but I think we are going to be attacked by these guardians that the gods warned us about on our way up. So we go to see. Our goal here is to locate Eothas. Now that I've arrived at Ukaizo, it's just a matter of finding Eothas. Assuming he still occupies a 700-foot colossus, that shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, probably not. All right. So do we have here? Creature stares down at you with only dim recognition of your presence. Water drips down the tip of its mallet-like head. So we see this. We have seen some titans like this before that are made up of some kind of metal. And we can actually see inside this one here. We see the purple essence swirling. So this is some kind of animat right here.
Whoa, that's, where would you even stab something like that?
What manner of creature is this?
Stay close, Ishi. That's one heavy bird.
I'm not too proud to admit when I'm scared. Terrified, actually.
Rundown of one-liners there. The construct turns to the sound of the speech, showing only dim awareness of the meaning. It swivels its head back around to face you.
So alone, never alone. Is Ukaizo reached?
Voice paws at your mind in a clumsy, unpracticed fashion. You feel something like the mental equivalent of a squint. What are you?
We're the gates of Ukaizo.
Construct rolls its gaze toward the city.
We guard the silence of Ukaizo. You are a disturbance.
Bronze plates grind together with a discordant shriek. I'm just trying to reach Eothas. He's the one you want.
Eothas has disturbed the bones of Ukaizo. The old pacts permit him to pass, but you will go no further.
So apparently when this guardian was created, the pact was that there were certain beings it would allow in, and most it would not. So obviously here the gods probably allowed themselves passage, whereas any Kith, it didn't allow them passage, which is what's happening here.
Ukaizo is closed. The gates are barred.
A wave of heat emanates from the guardian. Before we settle this, I want answers about Ukaizo.
Our covenant with the Old Ones does not forbid questions.
The construct hesitates, its joints creaking.
The living were meant to forget, Ukaizo. Nothing can be gained of remembering it.
I don't get the impression you intend to let me live, so where's the harm? The gates of Ukaizo regard you in disgruntled, calculating silence.
If your desire is to spend your last precious seconds in idle chatter, we will not stop you. The chosen people of the Deadfire call Ukaizo home.
It stares off to the distance, fixating on one of Ukaizo's many spires.
The outsiders were their contemporaries, full of wisdom, ingenuity, and terrifying ambition.
The Gweathans, of course. Only they would create a monster and bind it to guarding their secrets.
The outsiders were their contemporaries, full of wisdom, ingenuity, and terrifying ambition. Alice says that's the Gweathans.
They did not create us. They united us as one. The Old Ones and the Outsiders traded, collaborated, learned, and built together.
Okay, I have to go and look at this again. Chosen people of the Deadfire called Ukaizo home. The Outsiders were their contemporaries, full of wisdom, ingenuity. Okay, so the Outsiders are the Gweathans, and then there's the chosen people of Deadfire. When Aloth brought up the Gweathans, the Guardian said that the Gweathans are not the ones that created the Guardians. It says they united us as one. The Old Ones and the Outsiders traded, collaborated, learned, and built together. So who is us? Is it Ukaizo and the Guardian that they created one because this person said that they were Ukaizo? This Guardian said that they were Ukaizo.
Outsiders augured the doom of the Old Ones. The rift unmade them both.
Doom of the Old Ones. The rift unmade them both. Who are the Old Ones? That must be the people of the Deadfire. A deep thrum of power echoes from somewhere beneath Construct's carapace. What caused the rift?
The Outsiders coveted ancient Ukaizo. Its occupation was a hindrance.
Construct cranes its head around as if following the movements of passers-by.
Machines were built on a foundation of outsider lies. When the machines were nearly done, the Outsiders constructed bodies of flesh and bone.
I wonder if those are the gods. Stretching its neck out, the construct mimics a height greater than its own. What were these machines?
Ones which drew the spirits of the dead through a sieve.
So I think that's talking about the wheel there. And what are these bodies?
Skeletons, now. Their remains littering great Ukaizo.
So when it says skeletons, is it talking about literal bones, or is it talking about, like, we see this heap of metal here with a purple hue to it? I wonder if those are the skeletons it's talking about. And we do know that the gods at one point had bodies of titans, although we saw the bones of one of those titans. They were actual bones, one, and they were enormous, much bigger than this. We saw them at, I think, the Abbey of the Fallen Moon in the White March DLC in the first game. We saw the remnants of Abaddon after he had been struck by the moon.
Finally, the Outsiders fashioned a Guardian to stand vigil over their work. Our bond with the Old Ones compelled us to trust their allies. They offered us a trade, eternal life for eternal service. We were ordered to slam shut the gates of Ukaizo for all time.
What happened when the machines went active?
The Outsiders vanished from the world, leaving the Old Ones dumbfounded.
So the Gweathans just kind of disappeared, I guess, as soon as the machines went active.
Quiet gave way to chaos. Storms battered the seas. The sleeping hearts of mountains awoke with fury. When the last screams of the old ones faded, only we remained.
Seems like the Gweathans tricked these ancient Huana. I'm gonna guess they were Huana, but it's just calling them the old ones. Tricked them into helping them create these machines and create Ukaizo, but then just kind of completely shut it off as soon as their goals were completed. So no one has been here since the devastation?
None but the green colossus whose every footstep disturbs tranquility. You are the first Gweath to visit the shores of lost Ukaizo, and you will be the last. Now you know, and nothing you have learned can spare you from our obligation. May your journey through the wheel be an informed one.
I didn't come to fight, but if you bar the way, then I have little choice.
You chose death when you set your bearing, traveler. Prepare yourself.
Lunging forward, the construct attacks. These things gonna come get us too? Well, let's just summon to start off, and then we'll see what happens with them. Use this one? Huh. To expose vulnerabilities. Okay, so here we go. Kind of wondering about that. So we have some Animats that are coming to aid the Guardian. Let's get rid of them first. If there's anything I can do as a cipher.
Can't get a clean hit.
Damn the lads, eh?
Here come the other Guardians. I am barely hurting this thing. What's going on?
That dog won't hunt. I reap what I sow.
This is futile!
We have some Gweathan Sentinels now.
That dog won't hunt. Darkness, take.
That thing's gonna blow up and hurt us.
I cannot whack him any harder! to keep stuck over here.
Feet. On your feet now.
Darkness flows and the light wanes.
Man.
Hey, we had some good times.
So
Cannot whack him any harder. I'll make it. Yeah. I can't afford another loss.
I'm wondering if we should have waited to summon.
They'll naked us both.
Okay. Yeah, let's wait to summon till the sentinels show up. Hopefully I'm actually prepared to do this. So let's run over here right now, actually.
That dog won't hunt.
Stand together.
Let's reap this whirlwind. Nuh-uh, didn't work.
Okay, here they come. What's going on here? Oh. Wait. I don't know why Adair didn't have access to his summon.
Any harder.
Getting attacked.
Take that. Head. About taxed my limit.
Another withers on the vine.
Starting to get nervous that I'm not prepared for this.
Stand together.
Didn't work. All things must come to an end. Even me. Rebirth awaits me.
Right. There's one sentinel. See if I can stasis this guy again.
Don't whack him any harder.
Apparently not.
Darkness flows in the light.
Man, Shodi's down. That's not good.
Careful! Nothing I can do. I can hold out. It's cut out for us now. It can't afford an effect. It's not very. Stay behind me. I'm here. I shall.
I don't know if this is gonna happen, but let's see.
That must have hurt. Yeah? Cannot whack him any harder. Kind of stuck over here. I need some help here.
No way Alot's gonna survive here.
They'll not get us both. That's not very helpful.
Alright. So I do think it's a good idea to spread out, but it's really tough when I have to also deal with the sentinels. Want to check the bestiary. So I didn't realize that these Onomats were vessels. And Shodi's got a spell that could just get rid of a vessel. Wish I was able to kill them because I don't know what their weaknesses are. So the Gweath Titans don't really have any weaknesses. They do. This is all messed up over here. Yeah, I think they don't have any weaknesses. They are more susceptible to crush and shock damage than they are to pierce, though. And corrode. So corrode, shock, and crush. Let me see what kind of damage I'm doing with my characters here. Slash and shock, so that's good. Slash. Just raw pistols there. Brush, yeah. She's got pierce, so that's not good. What else do I have for her? I want to keep her ranged. Here's... all the ranged weapons are pierce damage. Seeker has at least some slash. Is it like immune to slash damage? No idea if this is interesting, by the way. Hopefully it's not too bad. Immunity to resolve afflictions, resistances to might and dexterity afflictions. It doesn't say anything about slash. Not sure what that means. Let's just give her Frost Seeker. Upgrade it. And I can't even upgrade it to Superb because I need high rate. Well, let's see what she says. And I think I also want to give Aloth, he's got some bombs here. Have any shock bombs? Look like it. Maybe I'll just throw. Also maybe be using these grimoires that he has here, so let's just some, what are those, grenades? Yeah, maybe those will be helpful. All right, let's give it a try again.
Good thinking.
We're gonna go right to attack this time.
The silence of
Okay, let's go.
That was about as useful as a bump.
Not all them. They're over here. Yarter, he is using his pistols, so I'll keep him over here. Aloth is maybe over here. Maya's in a good spot. Shodi. There's not going where I want him to go. Okay.
Stand together.
Let's see what happens when I throw this bomb at him.
Any harder.
That dog won't hunt.
Hey, that wasn't half bad.
Okay, so here come the Titans. One should we get first?
Nuh-uh, didn't work.
Alright, he's back up, so I want to put him in stasis.
This is futile.
Let's... No, the stasis didn't work this time.
Looks like I'm here to stay. That dog won't hunt.
Come on, go down, go down.
Can't take much.
What's going on with Aloth? What's hitting him?
Can't get a clean hit.
Where is he?
Here we go.
Still got it. Can't get a clean hit.
That's right. I want Maya to be using the bow. I don't know if that'll be better or not, but... So where is Al? Oh, Aloth is way over here. What is he doing over there?
This is futile.
What will my guts in here, Captain?
Come on.
Eyes down. Okay. What does Barrett spell do? I feel like I don't use that often. Let's give it a try.
That's not very helpful.
Let's bring Adair over this way. Hopefully it'll go after him.
Take that.
So we're all gonna attack him now. Let's take a look at these grimoires. So, okay, so I just changed.
Might as well be hitting the water.
I have no idea what just happened there. Not something I'm familiar with. I forgot about Shodi's spell that gets rid of vessels. Well.
This is futile.
Oh, damn, he's got a tail attack too. Great.
That was bad. This was a bump on a pickle.
Uh-oh, turned around.
Can't get a clean hit.
Oh my god. Ay, ay, ay.
That's it.
That dog won't hunt.
That didn't work.
Stand together. Got to keep the lad on his feet.
Of course.
Glory be to God!
Not sure how I feel. Yes.
Alright, jeez.
Nuh-uh, didn't work.
And Shodi's got nothing left.
Hitting the water.
All right. I hope that was as much fun for you to watch as it was for me to play. That was very enjoyable. I know I was getting annoyed when that hierarch showed up, but wow, that was quite the battle. And everybody has leveled up except for Maya, so let's do that before we start exploring these things. Unbending trunk for Adair. Oh, got down here too. Hang on a second. Inspired strike. After the strike, receive acute and swift inspirations temporarily. Fighter interposes himself or herself between incoming attacks and nearby allies. The final damage total of any attack against nearby allies cut in half. Fighter will take the other half. I do want to do that one. And then what's this? Unrelenting. When the fighter rises, he or she regains discipline. Okay, I like that. Okay, I gotta get prestige. Increases your power level, increasing the effectiveness of all abilities. This is level 19, by the way. I think the max is 20. See what she's got here. Ogren's Might, Reamer Gun, Bane, Wall, or Bareth. Huh. Well, definitely going to give her prestige. They're all like the destructive gods. So let's give her a Hand of Bareth, which drains the energy of life from a target, reducing their power level significantly. Mortar. Chains. Haunt the target's mind with dark memories of those they've lost and killed, terrifying and hobbling them. I wonder why that's a level 9 spell. Still gonna get it. Oh, I'm also going to prestige him. Prestige seems like a no-brainer for the 19th level. I'm going to do that for Aloth too, and then I'll look at the spells. Look at this Cloak of Death. That'll be nice to use if there are people close to Aloth. This summons a swirling cloak of black energy around the wizard. The cloak will banish the wizard's melee attackers, imprisoning them in darkness for a short time where they cannot take actions and will receive rapid raw damage over time. Okay. Right. Vessel Flesh, Reagent, Emerald, Awakened Audra, and Gweath Dagger, and then Gweath Shield. Awakened Audra, some Living Steel and Living Iron, and Binding Copper. That was all part of the Guardian there. Looks like is this a spirit we can talk to? Doesn't look like it. I think maybe that's just a glitch. Awakened Audra, Binding Copper, nothing new.
Indeed.
New. And nothing new. I'm gonna take a quick rest, get rid of my injuries. This pile of debris hums with ancient power. Faint echo of soul energy blinks up at you from the depths of the wreckage. So yeah, these may have been actual constructs at some point, but they are shells of what they used to be. Eothas was left behind. Alright, so we have a few different places to go. Gweath is locked to us now. Same with Ondra's Spire, so we have to go to the Grand Promenade. 31-minute trip.
It's beautiful. I know it can kill us, Captain. Just let me have the moment.
Disable the storm. So this storm is around us right now. Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air. Descending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storm rages on. Erosion has softened the bronze... Oh, I already read that. So this is the Grand Promenade. We see the storm all around us here. We see a lot of Ondra pillars sticking up. Nothing else is labeled. And this is the way to Gweath, though, which is the area we couldn't get to before. Furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. Recall the last time you encountered a Beowick. Feels like a lifetime ago. The Beowicks we encountered was at the very beginning of the first game, so the suggestion is that this is a Beowicks here, or... Because it does say spirit winds tug at your soul, so Beowicks winds do take souls from people who are caught in them, so this is a dangerous place that we're in right now. Turn to your companions. So, here we are. You look to those who've accompanied you this far, who risked everything to face the confrontation ahead. How are you feeling about all of this, Adair? Adair's gaze wanders among glinting archways and half-collapsed spires, his mouth agape.
Gilded Vale got its name from the way the wheat fields used to look in the sun. But this place really is gilded.
It's the golden architecture around here.
Might as well be a different world.
Much prettier than Sun and Shadow.
Yeah, seems they had a whole different way of looking at things. I'd say I like this one better, but the truth is, neither one seems any closer to me. These great people got a funny way of passing on. They disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with.
Great people got a funny way of passing on. Disappear from the world, but leave their problems behind for the rest of us to deal with. Great people being the Gweathans. That's why we're here. We're going to face this. Whatever comes, we're going to see people through.
I guess maybe that's one good thing that's come out of this. Well, at least for me. I got something to do with my life that doesn't involve hauling, shoveling. I even got a friend or two out of it.
Smirks.
The whole world's about to face the biggest test it ever saw. What Eothas is doing, it's gonna change everything. We may not survive. Kith, I mean. You know, I broke a wheel once too. First thing I thought of when we learned what Eothas was doing. My mom had this spinning wheel, and she loved it.
Dare bites his lower lip, his guilt still evident.
Well, I was playing with it in the way a young child might when his parents are out, and that wheel came right off. It wouldn't go back into place, so I pushed it harder, and pretty soon I'd broken off a spoke. Broke off 3 more trying to fix that. Anyway, I got whipped pretty good for it. That wheel was never the same, even after my dad fixed it.
Dare runs a pair of fingers back and forth across the beard in need of a trim.
I used to think of the gods as being like parents to all of us. And now I know better. They're children, playing while their folks are gone.
A apt metaphor there, Adair. Adair looks to Eothas in the distance and sighs. You're looking thoughtful, Aloth. Aloth looks out at the sprawling ancient city.
5 years ago, you controlled the destiny of thousands of souls in Sun and Shadow.
He pauses, considering the vista.
But the choice you make today shall define the fate of every living thing in Eora.
He turns to you. Curiosity shines in his eyes, but there's something else there. Pity. Say, what do you think I should do?
And to think of all the times I've asked you the same question.
Takes a deep breath, thinking.
I suppose if it were up to me, I'd want to ensure that Kith are free to define their own future. To triumph or fail by our own decisions.
He looks over the ancient, broken city.
But it isn't up to me.
He pauses, looking back at you. What did he say? Suppose if it were up to me, I'd want to ensure Kith are free to define their own future, to triumph or fail by our own decisions. I think he's suggesting that Eothas, it's okay that he breaks the wheel.
I know you'll choose wisely. And no matter what happens, it's been an honor journeying with you. Again.
He puts his hands on your shoulders, meeting your gaze with a fond smile. He turns back to regard the great city before you. Something on your mind, Shodi?
We gonna do this or what?
Jody licks her chapped lips, dark gaze narrowing as she tackles in the sight of the ancient city's ruins. Raised high, her lantern casts hard shadows over the plains of her face.
If it's all the same to you, Watcher, I'd rather not miss the moment my god brings the darkness down upon us. I want to see Gone become the true deity of death.
So she's rooting for Eothas to do this, I guess. Was it worth it all to chase down your god?
It was. And I'd do it again, only bloodier this time. Think of all the souls I could have gathered if I'd reaped them right from the living.
Damn, Shodi. A shiver runs down Shodi's spine as she taps the red-stained sickle against her thigh.
Tell me, Watcher, can there be a god of light and birth if souls themselves can no longer be reborn?
She points her lantern toward the shattered ruins in the distance, Ukaizo's broken bones. No matter what happens with Eothas, you've got my back, right? She doesn't answer for so long that she thinks she's not going to. Then she taps her blood-stained sickle against her thigh.
Sure, you can trust me at your back, even if you're going against my god.
But the words sound hollow, like an obvious lie. She points her lantern toward the shattered ruins in the distance, Ukaizo's broken bones.
I thought it'd be different how it turned out. But I couldn't dream of any other way.
Jody sets her jaw, grim.
Now then, shall we go face my god for one last time? Find out what it is we can or can't do in these end times. Whether we're meant to wither or thrive.
Yep, let's go.
Consider me your second shadow.
Jody thumbs the copper cage of her lantern, a subconscious attempt to reassure herself. I guess I didn't pick up that Shodi was so bloodthirsty. I don't know if I said this in one of the earlier sessions, but I did notice how she would yell things during battle, like bloodthirsty things during battle that I didn't really think fit with her character. I thought it was just like battle cries for the sake of battle cries. But that comment she made about reaping souls from the living, that makes me think maybe they were consistent with her character. And I wonder if maybe I missed something in her character development, or if she is just changing because she is so dedicated to Eothas that now she sees him reaping the souls of the living, so why shouldn't she do the same? Okay, Maya, any thoughts?
So, here we stand on Lost Ukaizo.
Maya shoves her hands into her pockets, sighing. She glances around, wearing an unreadable expression. You expected more?
My parents gave me an earful about horizon-spanning beaches and towers reaching beyond the stars.
Maya snorts, shaking her head.
All I can see is good folk tussling over a wasteland.
Time to confront Eothas, hopefully for the last time. You know what you're doing?
It's humbling just to stand here. Look at what we accomplished.
No time to waste then. I'm about as ready to confront a god as I'll ever be.
Maya smiles, but there's a lining of unease about it.
We're doing good work here. Setting foot on Ukaizo is a statement that no one can ignore. You should be proud. Captain,
She furrows her brow, searching for the right words.
You got us here in one piece. If there's a better compliment out there, I don't know what it is.
She nods, gesturing for you to go forward. Maya folds her arms and looks out on the city. She reaches down and pets Ashiza when he nuzzles her leg, but says nothing more. I think we're as ready as we can be. Let's go. The tiny engraving reads, "In memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokima, Ngati's first chosen." I wonder if those are like water shapers? Like frogs. Huh. We cannot go to Gweath. We have to go to Ondra's Spire. Hour and 25 minutes. Take a look at this. So at the top of this spire, some kind of device. I wonder if this is the thing that's powering the storm. Though the device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions, the air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cordoned off Ondra's Mortar from the rest of Eora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Eothas rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. Can we see him anywhere? I don't think so. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraving copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. Let's just deactivate the machine. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of machinery gradually slows and turbulent winds grow calm.
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Ondra's Mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell.
I think that means that Bareth is about to show up here. Also, I was just thinking, since we shut the storm down, that means that other people make it here too.
The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
What will come after this?
That will depend on the will of Kith, whose desires are ever in flux.
It seems like what everyone's saying is that this is just kind of a foregone conclusion that Eothas is going. There's nothing we can do to stop Eothas from doing what he's doing.
Soon you will confront Eothas for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Barath, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid knight inclines her head to you, black hair hanging limp in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Eothas truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Eothas be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Eothas must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Eothas thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
So Abaddon recognizes the failure of the gods.
Eothas will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Eothas must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
Very wall light. Only thing they care about is secrets and keeping them. Should Eothas? I mean, all these things suggest that we need the gods. I want to say something about how we can do this without you, but none of these options allow for that. So I'm just going to say nothing.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Eothas is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Thanks, Boudica. Thanks.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Ondra has faith in us. Centigraphs and post here. I said that Ondra has faith in us, but I'm looking back at it now. It's not exactly true. She thinks that we can accomplish things, but we need the gods' help. Boudica was more about, like, Kith being completely helpless without the gods. Ondra thinks that Kith need to work together with the gods. I just wanted to clarify. Also, Skane was with Boudica, so I thought maybe we would hear from Skane, but he just kind of disappeared with Boudica.
Kith will not solve Eothas' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
I spoke too soon, so there's Skane there. I don't know. Skane is the one that is supposed to be fighting back against power, but he's allied himself with Boudica, and he's suggesting that Kith need the gods. So I guess the revolution stops when it would mean overthrowing himself. How can we trust you to lead us after this?
You cannot trust us, and you never should have. Only the Kith may save themselves.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them. Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
So in other words, this is a trial to make us stronger. I believe that Magrin would also agree with him there. I feel like there was another god that spoke that I'm forgetting. No, I think it was just Magrin Halloween.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Eothas' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Eothas' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
One of you has tried to convince me that mortals are destined to fail, but I don't believe it.
And yet you come to Ukaizo alone, with none at your back. All that Kith stand to lose. And even then your leaders could not join hands, squabbling instead over prestige and resources. You believe that will change when my final death comes calling? You are a greater fool than I thought.
So calling into question, since I didn't join with a faction to get here, I forsook them all to get here. But I think I said this last session, this idea that all of these factions are failing, I don't think that's a failing of all Kith. I think that's a failing of the leaders of Kith. And there are 99% of Kith don't fall under that category. They're the ones that I have faith in, not the leaders. Just like I don't have faith in the gods.
Magrin is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death. Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the pallid night returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Gods did what they could. We'll take it from here.
I only suggest that you walk into this future with eyes wide, Watcher. The mantle of responsibility is a heavy one, broad though Kith's shoulders may be. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty, and you have discharged it well. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy it. You granted him peace. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Eothas now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
She claps her gauntleted hands together, and a sound like thunder rumbles through the room. As the floor crumbles and falls away beneath you, you hear the sound of a single bell ringing, and beneath it, the faintest whisper.
Consciousness returns in waves. The last of the machine's energy dissipates. Calming of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you, and like sand wiped from a mosaic, you see the distant outline of Eothas raising his fist in triumph. Purpose. We can see that in the back here. Eothas punching what must be the physical incarnation of the wheel.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Eothas has ended the world.
Dare takes a long draw from his pipe and nods as he stares at the Colossus in the distance. I did want to say about the gods, I enjoyed that conversation with them. It seems like many of them are resigned to what Eothas is doing, all except for Woodica. And they know that it's going to happen and that their time is short. Some of them have faith in Kith, some of them do not, but they do mostly seem to understand the gravity of what is about to happen and are resigned to it.
It seems we're all still here.
Aloth glances around, rubbing his head gingerly.
If all your missions involve this many head wounds, then I volunteer to set the next one out.
Maya rubs the back of her head and winces. Ashiza lets out a pained squawk.
God's darnation. My head.
Jody presses a palm to her brow as she struggles to her feet. Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. An iron-studded warship has dropped anchor in the shallows, its cannons angled to the shore. The ship is nearly cracked in half, but the standard of the Royal Deadfire Company persists in flapping with the breeze. The empty deck tells that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone on Ukaizo. So like I said, now that the storm's gone, that gave passage to the Royal Deadfire Company. If ever there's a place for a final standoff, it's Ukaizo. I wonder what Maya's gonna do about that. If she'll have any reaction at all. So it is time to head down. I can't remember the name of it. Gweath or something? Gotta go back to the Grand Promenade first. Hazanui Karu approaches, her weapon drawn. Her face is bruised and cut, and her uniform torn from the rough journey. But her eyes are clear and focused. On you.
What everyone else fails to grasp is that Rauatai isn't a storm-tossed spit of land. It's the Kith who stand together there. Ukaizo belongs to us. We've earned it with blood and sweat.
So she said this because we are from the White That Wins. I wonder if she says that no matter what, unless you are actually from Rauatai, or if she recognizes that maybe someone from the White That Wins would understand that it's not about our land, it's about the people that are there.
And no one shall take it from us now.
Why are we arguing about this when Eothas is destroying the cycle?
I can't stop him. Neither can you. But I can give my country a chance at weathering what comes next. Rauataians, defend Ukaizo!
Much of a choice here. I wonder if Maya's gonna have something to say after this fight. We have a weather mage, and I would like to take care of that weather mage. Let's see if we can get to her.
Death! Feels like wading through mud up to my armpits.
mage is gone.
Yeah?
On your feet, Adair.
Wow, a dare. Okay. Alright, I haven't been using these skills for Adair.
Stand together! That's embarrassing.
It's, what does this one do again? Huh? Parasite. Hazanui Karu.
I'm feeling the strain.
Someone turned Hazanui Karu into a pig. Off is down.
Hitting the water.
We had some good times.
Okay. This Rawatayan soldier is just... Why is it surviving for so long? Okay.
That was about as useful as a bump on a pickle.
Got there. A bit more effort than I thought, but we got there. Mine doesn't have anything to say. I wonder if I'll just force talking to her. So we got Hazanui's crested hat. It's come in many different shapes, sizes. Nope. Nothing special there. Doesn't even do anything. I wonder if, like, we can do something with that or something. 2 stories from the Living Lands. Oh, she's already got one. Let's talk to Maya.
More orders? Better get to it, Captain.
Nope.
The green boy isn't going to wait around for us.
Indeed.
Okay, so now we gotta go down to Gweath.
At once.
I believe is where we are going to find Eothas. Can you see him from here? Can you see him from here?
Descend into the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the gods' great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Ondra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, The rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine.
Well, I did want to say before I move here, first of all, this rhythmic pounding is, as you can picture, Eothas beating on the wheel, trying to destroy it. But also, I wanted to point out that Hazanui Karu said that they can't do anything to stop Eothas, but they wanted to make things better for Rauatai. So it seems like everybody is kind of reserved to the idea that Eothas is going to destroy the wheel, and there's nothing we can do. It's just about how we react to it afterwards. But we are still going after him to try and figure something out. Moving on.
As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Ondra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Eothas. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms.
11 cavernous alcoves, 1 for each god, and all but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton. So I'm pretty sure Abaddon's skeleton wouldn't be there. I wonder who the other missing skeletons are. Because these must be the bones of the bodies of the titans that the gods once inhabited, but now don't anymore. And Abaddon's skeleton was at the Abbey of the Fallen Moon, but I don't know who else's it would be.
An immense Gweathan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Ondra at the machine's center. Periodically, Eothas's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Ondra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine.
He's punching the machine. Hundreds of luminous Ondra pillars are dim in a rippling wave, so he's affecting the Ondra pillar, and you can see the light dim from them as he hits it.
The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Ondra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries, the pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Eothas' head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Eothas' attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
You can see here, it said when he was punching the wheel, it was large enough, forceful enough to actually create wind, so we see some of that wind from the west. We also see this luminous Ondra that we are standing on top of right here.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way.
Without the storms, maybe?
It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures.
So it's just the fact that it's kind of a dead city.
Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, A festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
If we don't fix this mess you're about to cause, the whole world is gonna look this bad. I mean, it's a mighty heavy load you're putting on our shoulders. I just hope we can carry it.
As long as there are people like you in this world, Adair, I truly do. This power has always been in the grasp of mortals. Now you will finally be aware of it. Now you will be able to decide what to do with it.
Ukaizo's corpse is beautiful, my god. This, its current state, is but one spoke in the ever-turning wheel of life and death, and so no less worthy than its incarnation at birth.
Jody waves her lantern overhead like a beacon to draw her god's attention.
But you seek to break that wheel. I beseech you, Gone, that when you do it right. Burn to ash every Audra root in hell so that it may never regrow. Let the darkness reign eternal.
Darkness reign eternal. So does she want the cycle of reincarnation to stop? Man, I'm realizing here that I don't know much about Shodi. I thought I did.
It saddens me that the harvesting of souls in my name has brought you to this place, Shodi. But I am the cause, and I must take responsibility for it. I can only hope that after I am gone, you will see there is a brighter future for mortals. It is a future that you can help shape, even if you cannot see it now.
Loth shakes his head, looking up at Eothas.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all, gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long.
So he sees the inaction of himself and probably the other gods too as like a kind of sin or something.
One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power.
Rauatai gave everything they had to reach this place. In the end, they fell short of hitting the mark.
Shamed, Maya winces and fights to hold Eothas' penetrating gaze.
Will we ever have another chance to prosper? Or was this damn island our last hope?
She sighs up at him and plants her hands on her hips, as if voicing the concern released a long-held burden.
Only you can answer that question, Maya. Rauatai has persevered through great adversity. The storms that ravaged your homeland have ended, but that in itself may present new challenges for your people.
So Ondra's Mortar must have been responsible for the storms around Rauatai then. I know that they had guessed that or hypothesized that, but I don't know that I was actually confirmed at any point.
It is my hope that after I am gone, Rauatai will work together with its rivals to create a new world, instead of fighting over the ruins of the old.
I think that that's a far out there hope, not really likely to come true, but who knows? Maybe with the destruction of the wheel, people will start to reconsider.
But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
So I'm thinking here, I mean, I know what happens if I try to fight him Did I do that? Just for completionist's sake? Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm gonna say I'm gonna fight him, and then we will return to this place. So I've come to fight you.
Hey, you bempot, even I've no learned for that.
Realos eyes Islamir gapes incredulously at you.
Watcher, there is no fight to be had. If you seek rest, I can take your soul from you, though it would be a strange and tragic end to your journey.
Oh, we fight.
Your stand against Eothas lasts no longer than it takes you to declare it. In less than the span of a breath, the god absorbs your soul into his Ondra body, where it mingles with the thousands already there. It is a strange afterlife, a place of sleepy peace for some, and unrelenting tedium for others. For you, it is a place of stasis.
So I'm actually inside, my soul is inside Eothas' body.
You surface from the morass, time and again, only to remember the task you left behind, and how powerless you are now to complete it. You dimly perceive a world in chaos, souls hanging in the balance. You recall there was something you were supposed to do, but it feels as though you've been locked in a cage and dropped into the sea. You sink and forget, only to remember again.
So I think this is suggesting that what we came to do, it was never to actually stop Eothas. And that's very clear, especially now, but I just wanted to make sure that we understood that going forward that our goal is not to stop him, but to understand why he's doing this and to hopefully get a little bit of a head start on what to do next. For Kith. Understandably, that was not a very exciting fight. Eothas obviously is much more powerful than we are.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way.
So I am just going to skip through all of the companion stuff that we already listened to.
But what?
Will we?
Only the. It is. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me? Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
All right. So I'm going to go through all these, and then I'll tell you which one I am going to decide upon. But I just kind of want to go over what all these things could possibly mean. So the first one is I've come to ask you to take pity on mortals of this world who will suffer for your actions. That one seems like he's trying to, I would be trying to appeal to the emotional side of Eothas. I think he's made it clear that he doesn't actually care about the lives of the mortals of the world, of the Kith of the world. He's been basically sucking out those souls in order to keep this body of his moving. After you've gone, the gods will go to war with each other and with mortals unless they have a strong leader. This one sounds nice, and maybe it's suggesting that I would be the leader here, but as I think this game makes clear, leaders cannot be trusted. Every single one of them is only looking out for themselves, and if it turns out to be good for their people too, great, but if not, whatever. And for the more powerful that are underneath them, they care more about the more powerful than the ones that actually need their care and attention. We saw that in the Gullet with the Huana. The Roparu down there were completely forgotten and ignored until we did something about it. So the leaders, I don't think anyway, can actually be relied upon. Third one is mortals are going to need a head start on things to prevent the gods from reestablishing control. You need to inspire them. So trying not to stop him there, but to try to continue after the wheel is gone to try and give them a reason to find more, to do what they need to do next. I want you to go further than breaking the wheel. I want you to destroy it all. Is that? I wonder if that means the world and everything. Which is interesting. So I wonder if he wants all mortals dead too. I'm not sure exactly what he means by it all there. Or if it's just talking about like the in-between or what. Only to bear witness, meaning I just want to watch this happen. And I've come to fight you. We have already saw the results of that. So I think I'm going to go with this one, the third one. Mortals are going to need a head start on things to prevent the gods from reestablishing control. You need to inspire them.
Mortals are already inspired. It is what has pushed them on for hundreds of generations to reach this point in time.
Whitaker would disagree.
Animancy is poised to go far beyond what we and Gweathans ever discovered.
Wow. Okay.
Why does Helia think I should lend more power to mortals?
Alright, so our possible responses here: if this is truly the benefit of mortals, you're obligated to set them on the right path, not just leave them stranded. The second one, I want to ensure that the gods don't have the upper hand in the struggle to come. 3, because I believe in Kith, believe in our potential to do good in this world. I'm going to do the first one. I'm going to say I believe in Kith, believe in our potential to do good in the world.
As do I. From where should mortals draw their inspiration?
This is either the future or the past, where they should draw their inspiration. I'm going to say look to the future. Their imagination and inventive spirit should guide them.
Very well, Watcher. I will ensure that mortals are inspired by my passing, that my power not be expended in vain.
That got to him.
Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
How could I know that you don't?
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, besting a guardian who existed to bar your trespass, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears.
So these are all like singular things that he's saying here. I wonder if he might say different things depending on what we saw when we got here. Like if we had come with a faction, would he say different things here? I don't know.
And you did so on your own. That is no small achievement. Kith across Eora will hear the tale of it and look to you with awe.
That is definitely because we came.
I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. I had hoped your actions would set an example for the future, demonstrating the resilience and ingenuity of mortals when they work together.
So that's why he wanted us to follow him. It was a test.
Coming to Ukaizo unencumbered by alliances proves a different point than the one I intended, but it is a valuable one all the same. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Both. Let's see. Options here. Mortals couldn't work through their petty differences. I didn't have time to wait for them to see reason. 2, I thought Whitaker made a good argument. Collaboration's fine, but Kith require a guiding hand. 3, I didn't come to the Deadfire to settle the problems of others. 4, I work alone. 5, I don't owe you any explanation. So I'm going to go with the first one, because that is kind of what I thought. Mortals couldn't work through their petty differences. I didn't have time to wait for them to see reason.
I thank you for your perspective.
Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me, but for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy.
So these people giving into fatalism or tyranny, I mean, definitely Woodica, probably Skane as well. And then others have succumbed to apathy, so probably Wall. Who else? Apathetic to us. Maybe Abaddon? Not sure.
It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. You shirked the aid of others and came this far alone. But I think you'll find that the future is built on trust, cooperation, and understanding among kith.
So I did shirk the aid of others, as in we did not team up with ally ourselves with a faction in order to get here. But I mean, we have 4 other people here with us, so we weren't alone. So we did work with other people, just not the leaders. So I'm going to say before this is over, it's my turn to ask the questions.
Ask. You are entitled to any answer that is mine to give.
What happens after the wheel breaks?
The great work of the Gweathans falls to ruin. Reincarnation as we know it will end. Souls which currently await new life in the beyond will be born into the world as normal, but their numbers will not replenish.
So I think that means that we have a little bit of time here to figure out how we can continue when those souls have left the beyond and there are no longer any souls to inhabit new bodies.
Anything that dies will tarry in the void of the in-between, awaiting the motion of a wheel that no longer turns. Once the beyond has emptied, every birth will be hollow-born. Other maladies of the soul may follow and plague those who linger in life. Unless mortals work together to carve a new path, the essence of life will be trapped in the netherworld. Gods will starve. Eora will grow silent and cold.
Long until Eora... I think these are all the same things I had before. How long until Eora is devoid of all life?
A generation or more. That much essence is already poised to flow into Eora. But unlike an hourglass, no amount of turning will compel the sand to reverse its course.
A generation is not that long.
Should you choose, you could lay down your burden and trust in your children's children to set matters right. That depends entirely on you. By your reckoning, there are still good years to come. By ours, time is short.
Mortals aren't the only one in jeopardy. What you're doing threatens the gods.
Yes. They must work toward a solution or perish. If that task is beyond their skill, then they no longer deserve their position. I would have them justify their right to lead.
So it's not like Kith that he wants to work together, but the gods as well.
That could mean swallowing their pride and hearkening to the wisdom of mortals. Some, I expect, will perform better than others.
Why won't reincarnation just go back to how it was before the wheel?
When we tamed the cycle of reincarnation, we broke what had once functioned naturally and without intervention. The flow of essence will not normalize on its own. Essence will simply pool in the void of the in-between, never passing through Ondra networks to the beyond. The dead will be left to wander in darkness, confusion, and sorrow.
So I wonder if Audra, as it exists now, also existed with the Gweathans, or if the wheel kind of utilized the Audra to transport souls. Like if they had found out that Audra could do that and they used the Audra, or did they create the Audra? Did they just fine-tune it? And also I wanted to point out here, when we tamed the cycle of reincarnation, we broke what had once functioned naturally and without intervention. Okay, so before the wheel, there was a cycle of reincarnation. It was not as efficient as it is now, but they broke what existed in order to make the current system. So destroying the wheel will actually destroy the cycle of reincarnation. But he did say that animancy in our time advanced to even what the Gweathans had discovered. So there is hope for us. A worry then could possibly be, I mean, the Gweathans, when they supposedly found no gods, they made their own. Are current Kith going to do that? Are they going to come up and create their own gods to try and solve this problem, just like the Gweathans did before us? How can anyone trust the gods after what you've done?
No one is worthy of unconditional trust. If you feel the gods are beyond forgiveness, then they don't deserve your obedience. Make your future one that doesn't require them. Should you choose to accept the gods, I hope that you temper your faith with skepticism.
Good answer, I like that. Boudica sees this as a test, one we're destined to fail.
Boudica is entitled to her opinion. If the intent of this test is to justify an uprising to come, that is more worrisome. The other gods must decide for themselves if mortals are ready to dictate their future. Should Boudica's tyranny prove the only alternative, mortals must prepare for a terrible conflict.
Okay. So there is a chance that other gods will fall in line behind Boudica. That's what he's saying here. And that could be really bad for Kith.
Your perspective bridges eternity, Watcher. Many will look to you to mediate differences that could shake the very foundations of Eora.
You've had millennia to do this. Why now?
For several reasons. My strength was diminished after the Godhammer bomb, and assuming this form took incredible effort. With so many vying for control of the Deadfire, I also saw a ripe opportunity for mortals to cast aside their differences and stand together as one. They have never been more powerful, more capable. Because of this, the gods must justify their importance or be proven obsolete.
That's interesting. So the Godhammer bomb seemed to inspire him, even though it also killed him in a way. For posterity's sake, I am going to say I haven't forgiven you for Cadnua. That was my keep in the old game, that when he inhabited this body, it was underground, it rose up and destroyed my entire keep and actually killed me, but Bareth was able to resurrect me.
I apologize, Watcher. There is nothing I can do to restore the glory of your hard-won and poorly situated estate. What happened to Cadnua was not personal in nature. I would have occupied the statue even if it was buried beneath Defiance Bay.
That's why our estate was poorly situated. I like that. Because it just happened to be on top of the colossus he wanted to inhabit.
Given your perseverance, I know that a second home cannot be distant in your future. You have only to seek it out.
That's all. What happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Eothas' words entered your mind than you hear one final dissonant ring of a chime of the chime within you. Then, silence. The knot that formed when the Pallid Knight first addressed you in the Beyond is now gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be.
Vareth doesn't have a hold anymore either.
Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves.
I would love, it's making me think now, I would love to be able to at least hear what the Watcher is up to in lands.
I have great hope for you, but always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Eothas squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fists back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Eothas draws power from the luminous Ondra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Ondra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Eothas' body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Ondra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits.
It not only destroys the wheel, but this colossal body as well.
Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Eothas does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted, the machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Eothas stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Eothas drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Ondra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Eothas' arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes. As Eothas' shout echoes throughout the valley, your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Eothas' voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Ondra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Eothas.
People already have heard of us. Eothas' body has been destroyed. I wonder if these endings will take in the inspiration that Eothas said he would give to people.
On your recommendation, Eothas disperses his essence, and that of the thousands of souls within him, to centers of knowledge and learning around the world. Animancers, engineers, wizards, and scholars of all stripes make astounding breakthroughs in understanding and harnessing the phenomena that govern Eora.
Yeah, he did. And I like this too. He's not like providing inspiration by telling them what to do. He is providing inspiration by just sharing knowledge. And that is interesting to me. That is a good way to go about it. I will also see here Eothas' body is missing an arm. So I thought it was the whole body that got destroyed, but apparently it was just the arm of the body that got destroyed.
While some of these developments prove beneficial to Gweath, others are decidedly... In reaching Ukaizo and facing Eothas, you have accomplished the impossible. and you have done it without the assistance of the great powers of Deadfire. Your feats capture the awe and imagination of a world that needs heroes more than ever. Some say your intervention prevented Eothas from a far worse act of destruction. Many believe you will be the salvation of Eora.
Well, I apologize. My finger slipped and clicked that last slide before I could get to it. So maybe I will, maybe in post I'll go back, just kind of pause it there and read it aloud. But here we see that the legend of the Watcher is spreading, and it says, many believe you will be the salvation of Eora. I was kind of hoping they would see themselves, each and every one, but maybe if they think that I'm the salvation, maybe they'll listen to me when I say something like that.
With each day, your legend grows, as does the chaos in Deadfire. Ukaizo remains unclaimed, and the Efekia Channel becomes the site of a near-constant battle as the Huana and the Rauataians vie for control of the unprotected island. The Rauataians rely on their cannons, and the Huana call forth massive waves and beasts of the deep to sink their foes.
And after all this, they're still fighting.
And while they chip away at one another, the Valians and the Principi pursue their own ends with increasing abandon. Emboldened by their rivals' distraction, the Valian Trading Company seizes territory and mines luminous Audra at a startling pace. Huana villages are left at the mercy of unscrupulous speculators, and resource-rich islands are swarmed and stripped.
I wonder if there's anything we can, because these are the leaders once again taking advantage of the people them and suffer in all of these. Stop that.
To support their operations, the Valian Trading Company begins shipping ever greater quantities of supplies and luminous Audra to and from the archipelago. This attracts the attention of the Principi, who target these ships with increasing aggression. The promise of fat prizes draws even more pirates to their ranks. The Rauataians, as well as the Huana, are too busy to stop them. The mysterious deaths of Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa provoke hostilities between the Valian settlers and the Huawan residents. What starts with angry words escalates to retaliatory killings as each side blames the other.
I can't remember what happened with Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa. But this is Port Mage. And apparently they have also fallen into unrest after all this.
By the time anyone bothers to question the strange coincidences surrounding their deaths, including reports of a cloaked Omawi woman seen in both the port and the village, both sides have gone too far to turn back.
Like Maya, maybe?
As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. With the major powers at one another's throats, Nekataka becomes a maelstrom of chaos. Spies and smugglers follow the flow of refugees into the city, where violence is commonplace. Ukaizo remains the coveted prize, and Nekataka fades into an afterthought.
Wait, yeah, so Onakaza just abandoned her people here because Nekataka wasn't the prize anymore. It was Ukaizo.
The Kahanga leadership takes responsibility for the welfare of the Raparu, and the Gullet starts to improve. What was once a den of crime, poverty, and illness slowly becomes a quiet haven for the Raparu.
Kahanga leaders, so okay, I guess they didn't abandon them. Nice.
The loss of Skiarilifus's essence weakens the Water Shapers Guild. Their power wanes and their influence fades. The art of water shaping survives as an arcane curiosity. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars.
Letharn, the guy who basically encouraging his followers to kill themselves to provide their souls to Eothas.
Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hazanui, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Eothas. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him. But that changes as word of Eothas' deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy?
It's not that. Man, I wish I could remember who these people are. I don't remember who Letharn is. I know that Baron was in Hazanui. That was the kid, though.
The faith of the children of the Dawnstars fades, but their commitment to the people of Deadfire does not. They continue feeding, healing, and helping the neediest, just as they have for decades. It is no longer a holy mission, but it is a mission all the same.
I see Shodi there too, so hopefully she sticks with them and continues doing the good work of the Dawnstars, even though they aren't following Eothas anymore.
Ruanu, the chieftain of the Huana at Tikawara, dies mysteriously. The tribe finds his body washed up on the same beach where Anaharu challenged him to the trial of waves. Some blame Anaharu's vengeful spirit. Others see it as Ngati's final judgment. And a few speak of a strange man seen lingering in the village.
This strange man is...
The leaderless tribe eventually scatters. Some head to Nekataka, while others seek out the Wahaki. Ships continue to disappear at the southeastern fringe of the archipelago, and stories circulate of a colony of vampires and gulls preying on their crews.
As we ran away when we found out that this fight was too difficult for us.
The dead flow, an iceberg in the southern sea, continues to grow unchecked. As the ice spreads, so too do wild tales of a hideous dragon rampaging across the Deadfire.
This would be the Beast of Winter DLC, which we also ignored.
Word spreads of the primal island of Kazuwari, once home to an arena that hosted bloody competitions and fearsome ordeals. Wild tales whisper that the spilled blood attracted a terrible beast of scale and fang that slaughtered those gathered at the island before destroying the great enchanted statue that oversaw the island's trials. Absent its guiding voice, Kazuwari descends into anarchy.
Again, Seeker Slayer Survivor DLC, and I said ignored. That's not exactly the right word, but we put it off until after. And again, I am planning on doing all of these things, but I did want to have an ending in of Avowed here. So we're not getting proper ending for all of these DLCs.
A vast monstrosity of tentacles and flesh erupts from the Black Isles in the eastern Deadfire, before vanishing into the depths. None know what drives the titanic beast, nor where it will appear next, or what destruction it might wreak when it rises.
That is from the Forgotten Sanctum DLC, and wow, this guy is terrifying here.
Though your adventures alter the destiny of Eora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed, in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hazanui, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Ilava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Eothas and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so.
He's like a surrogate father to Baron. I like that.
Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
Ew.
Plagued by constant nightmares and hallucinations, Shodi becomes increasingly disassociated from reality. Meanwhile, her power continues to grow with every soul she harvests. You start to notice sliced up animal corpses everywhere you two travel. But when confronted about it, Shodi stomps her feet and fiercely denies any wrongdoing. Then, one night, Shodi wakes, but never leaves the nightmare. Shivering uncontrollably, she packs up her belongings and slips away into the darkness, murmuring that she must return to the Temple of Gon in order to fulfill her purpose to her god. But she never reaches the temple. None of the Dawn Stars know what's become of her, aside from disturbing rumors of a harvester ravaging the southeastern islands in the Deadfire, leaving a trail of blood in her wake.
Don't know how this slide can exist with the previous slide, which had a much happier ending for Shodi, but this Shodi I don't think would be traveling with Adair, unless that was just supposed to be in like a short time after we travel. Not really sure. But either way, yeah, this is a disturbing end for Shodi here, who is not only about harvesting souls anymore, but doing what has to be done to create souls to harvest. In other words, killing people and things, to a point where there are fables about her almost.
Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. You let Romaro go, and the former pirate ostensibly set sail for the trade lanes of the Eastern Reach, the Edier Empire, Old Valia, and the Republics. For the remainder of your time together, Seraphon seems, if not exactly happy, at least contented with the outcome of your confrontation with his former mentor at Sayuka. And yet, when the two of you part, Seraphon seems emboldened, invigorated by a new sense of purpose. He buys you a drink, toasts to the Deadfire, says let's see if we can make something worth a shit out of what's left of these Principe swabs, and sets sail the next morning. In the years to follow, rumors occasionally reach you of the Blue Orlan pirate of the Deadfire, a privateer captain as keen to free slaves or fight foreign influence as he is to plunder and pillage.
Seraphon. And I didn't say anything about Aloth either. I thought that maybe there would be another slide, but he's just kind of continuing his work from before, inspired by our own actions.
The Valian Trading Company is initially furious when they learn that Pallegina had assisted the Watcher in claiming Ukaizo. In the chaotic aftermath, the company takes a more nuanced view of Pallegina's actions. The turmoil in the region allows the well-organized company to seize a number of valuable assets from their competitors. Though Pallegina is not rewarded for her actions, nor is she punished, the Dukes and Songreta agree to forget her support of the Watcher. She is quietly reassigned to duty in the Valian Republics, an order she gladly obeys.
That's better than after the first game, where she kind of had to get back to the good graces of the Valian Republic, and now at least they accept her here. don't like that she helped us.
Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly, and even meeting with the old Animancer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers, and even the dukes themselves, note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile. Time away from the Navy gives Maya Rua some perspective on how Rauatai conducted the Deadfire occupation. No sooner does she return to active duty than she voices her frustrations over some of the more underhanded tactics she witnessed and carried out in the name of the homeland. Her voice carries all the way to the Ranganui, who reminds his admirals that battles are won by superior tactics, but war is a battle of precedent, and winning is not always a victory. The people listen.
So first of all, I think this means that our discussions with Maya helped her see the error in the way Rauatai was doing things in the Royal Deadfire Company. Also, earlier on, the mysterious circumstances that surrounded the death of the chief at Tikawara, I believe that was when Maya stepped away from us for a little while, and I forgot that that had happened, and she said something that she had assassinated somebody, or we learned that she had assassinated somebody, and that must have been the mysterious death they were talking about.
Though Maya's covert assignment in the Deadfire is considered a success, few claim knowledge of it or openly congratulate her. She receives no praise beyond knowing glances or the occasional raised tankard from her countrymen. She never responds. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. Takehu distances himself from the problems of the Deadfire, giving the tribes a reprieve from godlike omens. Ngati's silence speaks volumes. The Huana grow to rely on each other, paving a new way forward divorced from their traditions. Soon after he departs Nekataka, distant tribes report of unusual and salacious water sculptures appearing on the shores. These quaint visitations are widely celebrated, the identity of the artist ever an open question.
Quite a few of our companions have made a name of themselves as a kind of legend.
Your farewell is short and cordial. Nothing further needs to be said, and you wish each other well. Takehu does not look back. The sea feels restless in his absence. Your pursuit of Eothas and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Ondra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves.
So that looking to the future that we talked about with Eothas there.
As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
I wonder where home is. Maybe it's wherever we decide. I know that originally he would be from the White That Wins, but we remember we left that place. I have a sense of not belonging. We don't have the Keep at Cadnua anymore. So yeah, I wonder where home will be. So as so many characters, gods, had made clear, we couldn't do anything to actually stop Eothas, but we did at least convince him to spread his inspiration and knowledge to people that might be able to figure out something to do. He himself was encouraged by the advances of animancy in Kith. He said that we are almost to the point that we learned more than the Gweathans themselves. So he seems to be hopeful, and he kind of spread that hope, which I mean, hopefully that means that Eora will continue to thrive after this. Obviously, Avowed, as I record this, it is January 19th, so almost exactly a month until Avowed comes out, a month and minus a day. So we are going to see a little bit, I think, of the aftermath. I think it is said that Avowed takes place a few years after the events of Deadfire. I'm not sure if they probably just kind of chose a canon ending for Deadfire here. But either way, no matter what you choose, Eothas destroys the wheel, and Kith are forced to find a new way to live in this world. Things like the inspiration that Eothas spread, whether we worked with Woodica or not, those kinds of things may have different outcomes in Avowed, but I'm guessing they'll probably just choose a canon ending. But I do not know what that is. For now, we can take heart that maybe Kith will find a way to continue existing after this generation, and the souls in the beyond have all already gone to new bodies and inhabited new bodies. But either way, I am looking forward to figure out what's going to happen in Avowed, and I hope you enjoyed this journey with me. I know I'm saying this like an ending, and this is an ending, but I definitely do plan, as I've said before, to go through all of the DLC, and I would also like to get several endings here as well. I would love to go through and get the endings with the different factions, and between factions I think there's even several different endings depending, like what happens if we side with Ferrante versus if we side with Aldis and Principe, those kinds of things. So I think there's a lot of rich stuff that we can still learn going forward, but hopefully if you have not played the Pillars of Eternity games and are hoping to get something out of them and a little knowledge over what happens in Eora and the mechanics of souls and Kith and Eora and the gods, maybe this could help you a little bit understand and appreciate what happens in Avowed a little bit more. If you do find any value in that, please let me know. I would love to hear from you, as always, in the comments. If I got something wrong, if you have any clarifications or suggestions or anything like that, as always, I do love to hear from you, and I hope to see you next time for more sentences and paragraphs. Bye, everybody.